So to begin, write your name on your paper, and then we're just going to turn it around. So this is our front, and I'm going to show you how to draw a pumpkin. To begin, let's talk about placement. I want my pumpkin to be up close to the viewer's eye. So that means it's in the front of the picture. This is called the foreground. When we have the foreground, your picture or drawing is going to be bigger and it's going to have more details. So follow along as I'm drawing the pumpkin. Of course, you can draw in your own style or you can copy what I'm doing. Then this part is like the back of the pumpkin. It makes it look a little more 3D or realistic, and just make sure it connects there. We're using pencil because we're all learning how to draw this together, so of course if you need to erase, you can. And then we're going to draw the stem. So I'm just curving it up, and then I'm going to connect, and I'm going to do like a little circle. Again, that's just to make it look a little more realistic or three-dimensional. And of course, you can follow this video and draw how I'm drawing, or you could try your own style. When you finish drawing your pumpkin, you could stop here and then add patterns to the pumpkin, but I'm actually going to draw more than one, and I want to create the illusion of space. So I'm drawing a pumpkin, and it's actually going to be behind this first pumpkin. So I'm using that same drawing strategy that I used for the first one. And do you notice how it's behind it a little bit and it's a little smaller? When we have one item in front of the other, that's called overlapping. When we overlap our shapes, you can still see the most of that second pumpkin, and I'm doing that on purpose because I just think it looks more interesting. But the whole purpose of this is to create the illusion of space, so that second pumpkin is actually further back in space. Of course, I could stop here, but I actually want to continue, so I'm going to draw a third pumpkin. Okay, I'm drawing this much smaller, and that's because I'm creating the illusion that it is way farther back. So actually, this is called the middle ground. When you draw items in the middle ground of your paper, it makes us think that it is further behind, and so it is further back in space. To make my landscape drawing look even more realistic, I'm going to draw one more pumpkin. And this is in the very back of the paper and my landscape that I'm drawing. So this is actually in the background. The items in the background are always smaller and they have very few details. This really creates the illusion that it is way far back in space. Okay, so now my pumpkins just kind of look like they're floating. So I need to draw some land, right? Because my pumpkins, I want it to look realistic and like they are sitting on a hill. And so the one in the background is way far away. Middle ground pumpkin is a little closer. And then my pumpkins in the front, which is the foreground, they are much closer. So I just drew some lines like that to make it have the illusion that these pumpkins are sitting on a hill or like in a pumpkin patch. All right, now it is time to draw some patterns. So remember, patterns can be created with lines, shapes, colors, numbers, letters, whatever you would like. So I'm just doing some little swirlies. And because we're doing this on a pumpkin, you have a lot of freedom to choose how you want to create your patterns. I'm deciding to do each little section of my pumpkin different on this one. And I'm trying to do different colors and just make it look a little unique so that not every section looks the same. That creates variety in your artwork. Feel free to stop the video and start creating your own. Or if you'd like to see how I'm finishing creating patterns on my pumpkins, keep on watching. And obviously I'm speeding up the video here. There's no way I could draw this fast and have quality work. So this did take me quite some time, and that's because I created 4 pumpkins. So then I had to go back and add patterns to each pumpkin, right? So again, that is your choice. You are the artist. And of course, you can be inspired by what I'm doing, or you can do your own. Something I want to point out is that the pumpkins in the front, in the foreground, they have a lot of color and a lot of details. Then the pumpkin in the middle ground has less details and it's not as bright of colors. Then my pumpkin in the background has hardly any details that you can see. I just did colors, red, blue, creating a pattern with my colors. So as your shapes go further back in space, they have less and less detail. So more detail at the front, less detail at the back. You can tell I also did this with the grass. I made more grass lines at the front, at the foreground, and then I had none in the background. That helps create the illusion of space also. This week you could experiment with creating the illusion of space in your artwork. Of course, you are the artist, so it is up to you to decide how you want to do the artwork this week. The main objective is to practice creating patterns in an artwork. I hope you have fun. I can't wait to see what you create.